Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this webinar, and thank you for taking the time to hear a little bit more about the Faculty of Law at Nelson Mandela University. I'm Avinash Govinji, Dean of the Faculty, and I'm joined by Dr. Lynn Biggs, the Deputy Dean, Mr. Dan Denisa, one of our postgraduate students, and Ms. Dorcas Nordia, our Student Representative Council Member for Law. It's such a pleasure for us to engage with you this evening. We each plan to speak for between 5 to 10 minutes to share our own perspectives about the faculty and to provide you with some concrete information relating to our programs and the admissions process. We then look forward to answering any questions you may have regarding any of our programs. The Faculty of Law is focused on delivering high quality law qualifications while making its own particular contribution to the legal landscape. I want to share some of the most recent developments pertaining to the work of the faculty to give you a sense of who we are and what we are trying to do to shape the next generation of legal practitioners. I also want to highlight 3 specific distinguishing features that I believe sets us apart and to encourage you to decide to join our faculty in 2021. Formally speaking, the faculty contributes to the institution's vision of being a dynamic African university recognized for its leadership in generating cutting-edge knowledge for a sustainable future. We are pleased to be able to say that our faculty boasts highly respected academic staff and committed support staff who combine to provide a top quality educational experience for law students. We know that you're investing a great deal of hope in your admission to one of our programs, as a parent or guardian through your financial contribution and through your hopes of a sound future for your child, and as a prospective student through your decision to invest some of the key developmental years of your life with the Faculty of Law. Because we provide a solid legal education foundation coupled with deliberate and ongoing interaction with members of the legal profession, we believe that we are able to produce some solid returns on these investments, equipping you with the necessary attributes for a successful career in law. We're incredibly proud to confirm that students graduating with a Nelson Mandela University law degree have assumed leading positions at top law firms and other businesses in South Africa and abroad, and made a meaningful contribution to society in so many different ways. Of course, this is true for practically all universities. So what exactly is the difference? The first distinguishing feature I want to highlight is the constant pursuit of practical learning possibilities for law students, which is a hallmark of our offering. We do this deliberately to enhance your ability to enter the working world so that you can seize any employment opportunities when these come along. In support of this, we have worked hard to partner with PPS, who've made a substantial donation for the refurbishment of our Moot Courtroom, including the latest technology for recording our students' performance in mock trials and Moot Court, and so that we have the latest infrastructure for us to be able to record high quality material for online consumption. We're also working with one of the most reputable law firms in the country to pilot the use of the latest legal practice software at our university's law clinic, housed on the Mission Vale campus, which will of course also welcome our first batch of medical students next year. All of this contributes to deeply practical educational experiences for our law students. And this is often the feedback we get from our past students and their employers, that they feel better equipped when it came to drafting legal documents, appearing in court, and in terms of integrating into legal practice. A second differentiating factor with other offerings is the depth of our student and staff engagements in South African society. For example, our Centre for Law in Action is an internationally renowned entity that focuses on improving service delivery at various governmental levels and increasing access to justice for people in need. Our Labour and Social Security Law Unit is nationally recognized for the training conducted by its members, particularly in the area of labour law, and the faculty's Law Clinic, Refugee Rights Centre, and mobile law clinics provide key legal services to communities in the Eastern Cape. On the research front, the faculty is producing an increasing body of published research work in various areas of law, and a number of colleagues are in the final phase of completing doctoral qualifications. The faculty also includes a prestigious chair in the law of the sea and development in Africa, a new area, which is housed at the university's unique Ocean Sciences campus. The faculty hosts a one-of-a-kind research hub every month and endeavours in this way to provide crucial ongoing research support to all postgraduate candidates. These are vibrant spaces, with our honorary, distinguished, emeritus, adjunct and visiting professors able to join these sessions using technology to participate in discussions about the latest developments in law and to help us lift the standards of the final research outputs of our students. It goes without saying that the work of the Faculty of Law is underpinned by the commitment of faculty, staff and students to uphold the values of the Constitution and the university, including respect for diversity, excellence, Ubuntu, and integrity. As such, the university and faculty aligns itself with the promise of service to society. That is the cornerstone of the university's intellectual and social project. The faculty is completely committed to producing quality law graduates who are determined and equipped to contribute to the betterment of society. All of this work is undertaken in an environment that is conducive to teaching, learning, research, and engagement. The Faculty of Law is housed in the Mbuzweni building on the South Campus. The space has been beautifully refurbished over the past 2 years and boasts a new boardroom, reception area, and working space for the faculty's postgraduate associates. This has certainly contributed to staff and student morale, although the last few months has seen us intensifying digital learning and teaching and using innovative forms of continuous assessment as a response to COVID-19. The faculty is looking forward to breaking ground for a new wing very shortly, which will house additional offices, including space for our adjunct and visiting professors and a lecture theatre. This is in addition to the PPS Moot Courtroom refurbishment that I've already mentioned. We look forward to meeting you in person and to welcome you to this conducive space for learning, teaching, and research, once it is safe to do so. Student life at Mandela is vibrant, and in our Law Student Society and Black Lawyers Association student chapter, we house two of the most active student organizations on campus, with student leaders committed to working with the faculty to enrich the student experience. Dorcas Nadia, our SRC rep for law, will talk directly to this a little bit later. Linked to all of these recent developments is the formalization of a number of important strategic appointments and relationships with nationally and internationally recognized legal luminaries, including distinguished judges, advocates, attorneys, and academics. And I know some of you have already asked about these categories of lawyers and judges and want to know the difference between them. This is our third distinguishing attribute: pioneering collaborations with a close-knit set of associates from practice who regularly enter our space for periods of residency in order to work with us to develop our future leaders. We have no doubt that their presence and the consequent interaction with students will inspire the next generation of legal scholars at Nelson Mandela University. Significantly, the faculty has also prioritized its own transformation during the past few years and has been successful in its efforts to attract and retain top Black academic and support staff. We consciously invest in our own top students and have managed to retain around 20 of our best graduates for a 2-year period to pursue master's or doctoral qualifications and to work with the faculty, providing a source of peer mentorship for our undergraduates. Dan Denisa is one of our PGAs, and he'll chat to you in a short while. As I move to conclude, the faculty was fortunate to be one of the first 3 law schools in the country that received accreditation for the Llb qualification from the Council for Higher Education in 2017. We have built upon the success and introduced a new Llb curriculum under the leadership of the Deputy Dean, Dr. Llb. This has seen increased use of technology and blended learning and various initiatives to improve student success rates, including the introduction of an academic advisor and student success coach, just in time, in fact, for what we have had to face this year with COVID-19. These efforts and our ability to learn significant lessons from #FeesMustFall in 2016 and has enabled us to successfully complete the first semester for the vast majority of our students during the coronavirus pandemic, and to develop workable plans for completing the rest of the academic year. I believe that all these developments have cumulatively enhanced the reputation of the faculty and resulted in a number of other positive spin-offs, such as increased internationalization opportunities for staff and students. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and we hope you will make the decision to apply to join the Faculty of Law. It's now my pleasure to ask Lynn to discuss our different programs and admissions criteria, and I look forward to answering some of your questions a bit later.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining our webinar and for your interest in the Faculty of Law and the programs which we offer. I will be dealing with our undergraduate programs this evening and will be sharing a short presentation setting out the minimum admission requirements as well as the prospective career opportunities for each program. The undergraduate programs we offer include the Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice, the Diploma in Law Enforcement, the Bachelor of Arts Law degree, the Bachelor of Commerce Law degree, and the Bachelor of Laws degree, commonly known as the LLB. To start off with, let me explain the Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice. This is a one-year program offered on a full-time basis at our Mission Vale campus. The minimum admission requirements are set out for English, at least 50% for English home language, and 55% for English first additional language students. There are no specific minimum requirements for mathematics or for mathematical literacy for the Higher Certificate program. Applicants are required to have attained a minimum applicant score, which is the AS score, and applicants who have done mathematics need an AS score of at least 310, and applicants who have done mathematical literacy need at least 325 as the AS score. The calculation of the AS score can be found in our Faculty of Law 2020 prospectus, which is available on our website, as well as on the Nelson Mandela University website. Basically, the AS score is calculated by adding the actual percentage obtained for each subject, and then if your total is either 310 if you're a mathematics student, or 325 and above if you are a maths literacy student, you are then able to apply for the Higher Certificate. The Diploma in Law Enforcement is a 3-year full-time program offered at one of our Summerstrand campuses. The English requirements are at least 55% for English home language or 60% for English first additional language. Once again, there are no specific minimum requirements for mathematics or mathematical literacy. The minimum AS scores are 330 for mathematics students and 345 for mathematical literacy students. The Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice articulates into the Diploma in Law Enforcement. This means that students who have successfully completed the Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice and who have obtained an overall academic average of 60% and above for the Higher Certificate can apply for the Diploma in Law Enforcement. The Higher Certificate allows for students to access the law enforcement sector as law enforcement officers for municipalities, Department of Forestry, Fisheries, Sandparks, the South African Police Services, Metro Police Services, and Correctional Services. Students who have completed the Diploma in Law Enforcement can follow career paths in various areas of employment, including fisheries law, municipal law enforcement, forestry, sandparks, and other environmental agencies, and many others. The qualification has a special focus on marine living resources protection. The qualification is also of benefit to members of the South African Police Services and traffic officers. The Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice and the Diploma in Law Enforcement were specifically developed and offered to meet the need for qualifications in the niche area of law enforcement. The Higher Certificate in Criminal Justice and the Diploma in Law Enforcement do not articulate into the degree programs offered by the faculty, as these are two vastly different careers. The degree programs include the Bachelor of Arts Law degree, the Bachelor of Commerce Law degree, and the Bachelor of Laws degree. The Bachelor of Arts Law and the Bachelor of Commerce Law are both 3-year degrees, offered on a full-time basis at the South Campus in Summerstrand. These degrees combine law modules with other modules offered by other faculties. 50% of the qualification is made up of law modules. The Bachelor of Arts Law degree allows students to choose from a number of disciplines in the humanities and social sciences, such as economics, French, media and communication studies, political studies, and psychology. The BCom Law allows students to choose from disciplines such as business management, economics, and accounting. Both the BA Law and the BCom Law degrees require at least 65% for English home language and 70% for English first additional language. Students wanting to apply for the BA Law need at least 50% for mathematics and a minimum AS score of 390. The BCom Law also requires an AS score of 390, but it has a higher mathematics requirement of 60%. The Bachelor of Laws degree, the Llb degree, which is a 4-year full-time degree, also offered on our South Campus in Summerstrand, requires at least 65% for English home language or 70% for English first additional language. It also requires 50% for mathematics and an AS score of 390. Students who are doing mathematical literacy will not be able to apply for the Llb, the BA Law, or the BCom Law degrees, as mathematics is the requirement for these qualifications. The faculty also offers a 5-year full-time Llb Extended Program. The extended degree requires at least 60% for English home language and 65% for English first additional language. Students who are doing mathematics need at least 45% for mathematics and an AS score of 370 in order to do the Llb Extended degree. Mathematical literacy students need at least 70% for mathematical literacy and an AS score of 385. Both the BA Law and the BCom Law can be followed by a 2-year Llb degree, making the total period of study for the BA Law or BCom Law plus 2-year Llb a total of 5 years, with both degrees being regarded as undergraduate qualifications. The three-year BA Law and the BCom Law degrees open the doors to career opportunities in the civil service for public prosecutors and public defenders, while legal advisors are employed in the business and government. The Llb degree, including the Llb Extended degree and the 2-year Llb following on from the BA Law or the BCom Law, offers entry to all branches of the legal profession. Those planning to practice as legal practitioners need to graduate with a Bachelor of Laws degree, with the Llb degree, which is then followed by specialized practical training in the profession, as well as a professional examination. The closing date for applications is the 3rd of August 2020, with the late closing date being the 30th of September 2020. There are limited spaces for each of the undergraduate qualifications we offer, and 2 of our programs are already full. These are the Higher Certificate and the Llb Extended Program. So get your applications done for 2021 now. All applications must be submitted online. You will need your grade 11 results, a copy of your identity document, and a copy of the identity document of your parent or legal guardian or surety. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and I look forward to answering any questions you may have during the Q&A session a little later. I now hand over to Dan Denisa, who successfully completed his Llb degree last year and is currently registered for a Master of Laws degree. Dan is a postgraduate associate of the faculty and presents tutorials for first-year modules and is one of our peer mentors.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Biggs. So like she said, my name is Dan Denisa. Doing my master's in public law, and really being at NMMU coming to NMU actually initially was one of the best decisions I could have made for my life. And after completing my undergrad here, there was really no place to go for my master's. I just couldn't imagine going to any other place. And that's really because of the support that I received from staff members throughout the journey and sort of into my master's as well. So I'm still in the early stages of doing that. And already, like, I got a bit anxious because of the coronavirus and not being able to go to campus and all of that. but the kind of support I've received from my supervisor, as well as other staff members in terms of advice and guidance, the workshops that I've received for research drafting or my proposal writing, and just in general academic and mental support has been very important and impactful for my life. Some of the things that I really enjoy, I guess, about doing my master's here and being a postgraduate associate. So as a postgraduate associate, you do tutorials and you do academic work, right? So part of the things that I enjoy, we have the academic support hub, which you get to discuss people. That's how I actually got to discuss with other colleagues. They assist you with your master's or your research or any kind of academic support that you need. And those discussions help me to sort of develop my proposal, my problem statements and things like that. There's also the engagement opportunities. So one of the things that I do, I work at the Labor Law and Social Security Unit as part of my PGA work, and that's an incredible office. I've learned so much, practically speaking. I get to go to the CCMA. I have an arbitration coming up, and that's really useful practical skills that I'm going to be able to take into my career moving forward. And it's also influencing a lot again for my research. So again, coming here was just incredible, and I would advise you, and Doc is going to tell you more about the undergraduate part of it, because that really was what inspired me to continue to do my master's here. And yeah, my journey so far has been incredible. So I'm going to hand over to Dorcas now, and she'll tell you more about the undergraduate. Thanks.
Dorcas, just unmute.
Oh no, Dorcas.
Dorcas, we can't hear you. Just unmute, please.
My apologies, my mic seemed to be muted. As I said, my name is Dorcas Nadia. I'm a third-year undergraduate student doing the LLB course, and mine is basically to tell you what my experience has been as a student and what student life essentially meant to me. So let's take it back 3 years ago when I started at Nelson Mandela University. I found myself a first year excited about the new journey that I'm about to embark on, but also vulnerable as I didn't know exactly what to approach in everything that they do. It was easy for me to find myself and to help myself grow within the faculty. I gained a lot of exposure, and they always advance the values and the inputs of student. This is evident by how you find that you have student leaders who sit on board meetings with the faculty and make decisions that are at the core of students, and ensuring that what they have in mind and what is for their best interest is always advanced, and it is always facilitated by the faculty. Another thing that I've experienced is a great open door policy by the institution, but also by the law faculty. I don't think a day goes by that you enter the faculty and you're not greeted by a beautiful smile by Ms. Sompondo asking you how your day has been, or passing down the one passage and finding Ms. Hokwana asking you how you're doing, how you're coping with schoolwork, is everything still fine? What I also acquired from Nelson Mandela is that it's not only about the law itself, but also about a holistic experience of being a student and them capacitating you to be able to go into the world and be successful in whichever branch of law you decide to branch into. It's not only limited to litigation alone. You find that you get experience in criminal law, in corporate law, marine law. The possibilities are endless, and it's within arm's reach. It's just for you to just grab it. Another thing is the fact that the institution is versatile and it offers a balanced form of studying. Take myself as an example. I'm in student leadership. I'm a student leader. I'm in student politics, but I'm also able to balance that with schoolwork. And even if things do happen to get bad with schoolwork or it becomes a bit hard, I am fortunate enough to have the faculty facilitate me with student success coaches, or they avail academic advisors to you, or you have a lecturer will be an email away asking you how they can assist. If you're still grasping a concept, if you need an extra hour with them to perhaps understand a certain chapter of the work, to ensure that you as a student is fed academically, but also to ensure that holistically and mentally you are able to cope and to man the schoolwork. Another part, and I think this is for the first year, the most exciting part of law school, is moot court. So in your first year, you are given a set of facts and you have to draft a legal opinion based on that. And off of this legal opinion, you get to do moot court, which is one of Dr. Biggs's amazing things. So the faculty is fortunate to have a courtroom, and you have your court set up whereby you have your defense and your accused, and you have your panel of judges, which is of the most prestige lecturers in the faculty, sometimes even professors that come in from outside, and you get to present your case, and it's amazing. It's when you have your Harvey Specter, Annalise Keating, How to Get Away with Murder kind of experience. It's amazing. I think that's what every first year lives for. They also facilitate and offer street law. There's the Legal Integration Project, which facilitates a practical experience of what the law is. So you are exposed to articles, you're exposed to what it is that you can do with your degree and what you can branch and venture into with your degree. You also have your law clinic, which is there for your final years, whereby they volunteer their time to assist in the northern areas, or they assist the community of the Nelson Mandela Bay who have any legal issues, who perhaps need legal advice but aren't able to financially acquire this, and it exposes you practically. And I think this also contributes to your articles and the experience that you gain, because you first time see what the law is, how it impacts the community, and it allows you to have a positive impact on the community as well. All of this being said, as a student, your main focus, yes, is to academically excel, but it's also to enjoy yourself, to have fun. So you'll have your law student society that has a bus party, or you'll have a keen debate on the lives of people facilitated by Black Lawyers Association. There's all these platforms for you to explore as a student, for you to build yourself as a student and to grow. It's all within arm's reach. The responsibility is just yours to go out there and take it for yourself. Prof will now facilitate the question and answer session.
Thanks very much, Dorcas and Dan and Lynn. We're going to take a round of questions and deal with some of those that have been coming through. And thanks very much to everybody who have been submitting questions as we've been speaking. We've published some of those so you can see what some of our responses are, but I'll start taking some of the broad themes that we've received. The first one that I'm going to pick is what is a moot court, and Dorcas also referred to that, so that now sounds very much like legalese, and we're throwing jargon around, but a moot court is effectively an opportunity for students to present arguments in front of their seniors, in front of the academics. So it gives you the experience of preparing arguments on points of law and actually practicing articulating that or saying that in front of a bench. So it's effectively a mock exercise similar to what you will experience in motion court eventually when you practice, where you will be arguing points of law before a magistrate or a judge. A question has come about when we include practical or experiential training in the LLB degree. I have explained that in one of the notes, but just to say that that really is one of the practical, one of the differentiating factors we believe is the extent to which we go to integrate practical components in the LLB program. And when we redesigned the LLB recently, we had that at the forefront of our mind, so that actually in every year of study, there's significant practical experience, be it legal skills, which is an entire year's module dealing with writing skills and reading skills, and again preparing you for mock trials and moot court. So that all already starts in the first year and then builds towards the final year, where there's actual engagement with real live clients at the university law clinics and actual engagements going into the communities that some of my colleagues have been mentioning, and actually educating people on human rights, for example. So that touches on one of the other questions we've received, the extent to which we have links with industry and whether any of our current teaching staff are practicing lawyers, and the answer is yes and yes. So the faculty has deliberately developed strong links with, when we say industry, not just law firms, but also judges and professors from other parts of the country and the world. And the reason we do that is that we realize we don't have the answers to everything. We're not specialists in everything. We need to be able to draw on our networks and on people who've spent a lot of time practicing law in other parts of the world as well. And we bring those people into our spaces in order to give exposure to our students. And a number of our staff are practicing admitted attorneys or advocates. A couple of colleagues are senior commissioners at the CCMA, the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration. Some work at the Family Advocates Office, some are in court, and the reason it might sound strange to you, how can people be both academics and yet practicing so intensively in the courts, etc. The reason is that the university has a policy that allows academics to engage on a limited basis 1 day a week in their profession, and you can understand the importance of that, so that we don't lose touch with the discipline, with the practice, so that what we're actually teaching students in the classroom is a reflection of what is happening out there in the real world, so to say. So we really are determined that our LLB and other qualifications, and this goes for the higher certificate and the diploma in law enforcement, our master's offerings as well, they're incredibly practically oriented. So we don't duck the theoretical aspects, the reading of law. I mean, we haven't spoken about that this evening, but to become a lawyer and to become a good lawyer requires a massive amount of reading. That if you had to ask me what is the single key attribute that I should have if I want to be a successful lawyer, well, you must love reading the law. We talk about reading the law all the time, and so we balance that, all the reading of law that you have to do in all the courses which do have a theoretical underpinning, with exciting and innovative and at times cutting edge exposure to problems and analysis that we think is practical and simulates the type of experience that you're going to have when you enter legal practice. So I'll take a couple more before I hand over to my colleagues. We've had some questions about people who want to become environmental lawyers or corporate lawyers or human rights lawyers. I think the key point to make is that you need to obtain the baseline Bachelor of Laws, the LLB degree, either the 4-year LLB degree or the 5-year LLB Extended Program, before you consider which areas you're going to specialize in. So what we do in the LLB program is we give you a taste of all the different branches of law, and our faculty is divided into 4 departments dealing with mercantile law, criminal and procedural law, public law and private law, and you get a taste of all the different aspects of law, and you need to demonstrate that you have good knowledge of all of those. And in your final year, you get to choose which are the areas you would like to choose to specialize in to some extent. And we give you an option of some electives, and we build on those electives every year. So we, depending upon which staff we have and what their interests are, and also based on where we want to direct the faculty, we introduce new electives to give students different areas of opportunity where they can specialize in. And then for people who really want to take that forward, they then have the opportunity of doing a master's degree in law in any one of those areas. So are you a lawyer when you complete the LLB program? I'm not going to spend too much time in terms of unpacking all the differences between the different terms that we use for lawyer. We're speaking colloquially here, but there's a difference between attorneys who typically, yes, they can do court work, but they typically deal with seeing clients, understanding their legal problems and providing legal solutions to clients, and advocates who are really court specialists who are briefed Often now, yes, they can be briefed by the public directly in certain circumstances, but in fact who typically get briefed by attorneys and who specialize in particular areas of law and are really the big litigators. And by that we mean the people who stand up in front of judges on a regular basis and present legal arguments. Now, both attorneys and advocates in terms of the new Legal Practice Act are defined as part of being legal practitioners. So you're not simply a lawyer or a legal practitioner when you obtain the LLB degree. So when you walk across the stage, you've obtained your law degree, you've been capped, you've obtained the key qualification that opens the door to you becoming a legal practitioner down the line. But it is still down the line, because what you still need to do typically is to write either the attorney's admission exam or the advocate's exam, the so-called bar exam, which are in future going to be set by the Legal Practice Council of South Africa, and you need to complete a period of internship, typically 2 years with a law firm if you're going to become an attorney, or a period of pupillage with an admitted advocate if you're going to become an advocate. So it's not just getting the 4-year LLB or the 5-year LLB extended qualification. You then need to complete that practical period of 2 years. You need to write the professions exams, the exams set by the Legal Practice Council of South Africa. You need to be a fit and proper person, which means you shouldn't have committed any crimes or committed any offences while a student, things like plagiarism, copying each other's work and things like that. And if you're fit and proper and you meet all the requirements, then you are or maybe admitted as a legal practitioner by going to court and getting admitted. So you can't start working as a lawyer directly after graduation. You work as what is called a candidate legal practitioner, either a candidate attorney or an advocate pupil, so to say. So if you look at it in that way, and I'm answering some of the other questions we've received while I go along, how long does it take to become a lawyer? It can take from as little as 6 years. Right up to 7-8 years or beyond. I mean, hopefully hopefully 8 years will be a sort of maximum period. I'm including the period there of apprenticeship, so to say. Will the LLB degree be recognized internationally? It's a tricky question to answer, because South African law, of course, is specific to South Africa. So in most other countries of the world, you can't simply take the South African law degree and immediately hop over to that other country and then start practicing. So typically it will require some type of conversion. It might take an extra year or two for you to then become familiar with that other country's legal system, and then to attempt the practical legal components in that country. But having said that, we have so many international students in the law faculty, particularly from other parts of the continent, and SADC in particular, and we know from past experience that many of them have been able to forge very successful legal careers in their country of origin once they've returned home, having spent 4 or 5 years with us. That's where postgraduate studies can assist in terms of providing a particular type of experience that will give you further exposure to areas of law you may be interested in. I'm going to hand over to Lynn to deal with some other questions.
All right, we have received some questions relating to what is the difference between the LLB, the 4-year LLB, and the extended program. They are essentially the same. You end up with exactly the same qualification certificates, and you graduate with the same qualification. The only difference being is the time within which the qualification is offered. The LLB extended program has, as I explained in the presentation, has different admission requirements and actually follows a progressive approach with regard to the credits that are completed each year. So in the first year, you would probably do about 90 credits. In the second year, that could go up to just below 100. In the third year, you could go to just over 100. In the fourth year, around about 110 credits. And then into the final year of the fifth year, for the LLB Extended, which is about 120 credits. So the credits are spread over the 5 years, whereas the 4-year LLB, the credits are done in the 4-year period. The LLB Extended does have additional 1 or 2 additional modules which are not available or not done in the LLB degree. And the LLB Extended will also have additional tutorials for the extended students. Most of the first year modules, irrespective of whether it is LLB Extended or LLB, have tutorials for the first year modules, and some of the second year modules also have tutorials to assist students with the content and getting used to being a law student. Another question that we have is, can you articulate or move from a BA General, and not necessarily a BA Law, obviously, but from a BA to a law degree? And the answer is yes, you can. But depending on the results and performance and various factors and criteria that are taken into consideration. So we have accepted many students who are currently busy with a BA General degree and either into the BA Law degree or into the LLB degree or LLB Extended, depending on the various factors that we take into consideration. Another question relating to articulation is with regard to the higher certificate and the Diploma in Law Enforcement. The higher certificate is a year program, and at the end of the year, students will have completed the certificate. Students can then articulate into the Diploma in Law Enforcement, which is then the 3-year diploma. And as mentioned in my presentation, these are 2 vastly different streams of law. So the modules that are done in either the higher certificate or in the Diploma in Law Enforcement are actually, they're not the same as modules in the LLB degree or the LLB Extended degree or the BA Law or BCom Law. So there's no articulation directly from the diploma into the LLB. And but as indicated, there can be articulation from a BA degree or any other degree into the LLB. Another question that came up is if the student has applied for the LLB but would actually like to change to the LLB Extended. Yes, that is possible, but unfortunately at the moment the LLB Extended qualification is full. So what could happen is you could continue on the LLB degree and then make an application to change qualification in 2021 and to change it to either the LLB Extended or to the BA Law degree, provided that you meet the criteria for admission. I'm going to hand over to Dan to answer some questions now.
Thanks, Dr. Biggs, and good evening once again. So I'm just going to answer a couple of questions around what it takes to become, I guess, a good law student and maybe a good lawyer one day. So I think, like Prof. Govinji mentioned, I think the main skill is reading the law. So, and that requires a lot of hard work. You need to be determined, you need to be committed, and you need to want to do this so that you can put the time in. I think a major key or major component is being able to put in that time, having that discipline, having that, just that ability to continuously to continuously read and learn and want to develop yourself. So that's, I think, one major skill. Determination is a really important one as well, or trait, I'd say, is a really important one. maybe problem solving, because yeah, that's what you are. You're a problem solver. And so, you know, if you have that ability to sort of think outside the box, think creatively, and, you know, analyze situations and come up with solutions, I think that's really important. And I think another one, especially in the kind of country that we live in, right, and the inequality that we have, the injustices that we have, I think it's important. You have to have that commitment to justice right now, or the commitment to want to transform the society and try and make it better. And law is an important part of that. So I think that's pretty important. And so those are some of the things that you might need. And for your studies, I think there's somebody asked a question about bursaries as well. So I'm currently on a postgraduate research scholarship, which so that's what I'm on right now. We have a Department of Research Development, used to be known as the Research and Capacity Development. So they offer a lot of bursaries, whether it's for your honors or for your masters up to your doctoral level. They also have just a number of platforms to sort of try and assist you. So they'll give you a lot of opportunities. You'll be, you know, they'll tell you about the Mandela Rhodes Scholarship. They'll assist you with that. The A. Bailey travel bursaries. These are all things that come from the research and capacity development, and they help you become there's bursaries for your actual funding, and then bursaries or scholarships to try and improve you and make you a better person and eventually a better lawyer. So now I'll hand over to Dorcas, you know, to just answer a few more questions.
I have to address. First was, what's your law student at NMU expect? I would say a first-year student can expect to get to Nelson Mandela University, be met with a how-to buddy that will guide you on your road, on your journey as a law student. So they'll tell you where your lectures will be at, they'll tell you where the faculty is at, they tell you who's who of the business, and then first week into varsity, you'll have your highways to byways, which is an expose of all the societies of the institution. So you'll be able to sign up to all of these. You'll be able to sign up to BLA, which is your Black Lawyers Association. You have your LSS, which is your Law Student Society. You have various other societies, drama, anything that is of your taking that you can sign up for. You get to meet your lecturers, of course, and you have this amazing skit, but in order to see the skit, you have to be there in the first year. So it is part of your orientation, and it's the best part of your orientation. What's my other question? How is the faculty's attempt at digital learning and teaching experienced by students? So in light of the pandemic, everyone has been found being in their bedrooms or kitchen tables or dining rooms studying, and virtual learning has been difficult, I must say. But with the faculty, it has somehow become a breeze, because you have your WhatsApp groups with your lecturers where at 12 o'clock at night, you have a lecturer asking you, how are you doing? Are you coping? Do you need me to explain this? Do you need me to give you more information on this? Even more, they are considerate and they journey this with you, and we make it easy for each other. So given that the university provided night data, correct? And this is usable from midnight till 6 o'clock. And what our lecturers do is, because they know that it takes a lot of data to download schoolwork, some of them start sending your schoolwork at midnight. So it's cheaper for you to be downloading your work. And then during the night, you can use, during the day, you can use your day data to then study, to do research, to perhaps do tests, etc. And finally, my last one. On which campus is law-based and what is life like there? So a law student will find themselves either at Missionvale campus, Ocean Science campus, or South campus. South campus for your LLB degrees, Ocean Science for your diploma, and Missionvale for your higher certificate. Also, you'll find yourself at Kyler Street if you form part of the Refugee Rights Center, where they do research on refugee rights. Or you find yourself in Missionville or anywhere in the community of Nelson Mandela Bay if you form part of the law clinic that helps the society and the community. Back to you, Prof.
Right, thanks very much to Dorcas, Dan, and Lynn. I think we've exhausted all of the questions that we've received. We're certainly exhausted. It's not as easy as it looks talking to a screen, but we want to thank all of you that have taken the trouble to join us, for tuning in, and so to speak, from wherever you are in the world. We hope that this has been a useful session, and we hope it's provided the type of information that will allow you to make the best decisions for your future studies and then thereafter for your careers. We want to remind you that the study of law really is a labor of love. It takes a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of effort. It's not simply about being an orator like Harvey Specter or whoever it is that you may admire on Suits. It takes a lot of time poring over court cases and reported judgments and legislation and trying to understand what precisely the law is saying so that you can advise other people on what to do. And with that comes significant responsibility. So the ethics of the study of law is also at the forefront of our minds, and we hope that you will join us and that we will then be able to take you through that process so one day you can be a successful legal practitioner. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to welcoming you to the Faculty of Law at Nelson Mandela University. Thank you.